Okay, so hello and welcome to part two of the tutorial series of how to play New York by U2. Um, if you need to see the sound settings video, I've already uploaded that. That's part one. And you can check my channel, and I'll leave a link in the description and maybe even in the video somewhere over here on the screen that you can click on, and you can see the settings for the different effects. Um, we're not going to go over that in this video. This is just a how to play part of the series, just like in previous tutorials. Um, we're going to do things a little bit differently this time in that I'm going to show you a clip of what I'm going to teach you, and then I will go over it after I show you the clip. Before, I used to show you how to play it, and then I would show you the clip of what I just taught you. So we're going to do things a little bit differently this time. And so I'm going to show you the introduction of the song, which is very short. It's just some harmonics, and then the first verse. And we're going to break this down into short and simple little parts and go over things very deeply. I think this is going to be about a two-part series in terms of the teaching part. So this is going to be a very short series. It's a very simple song. So let's go ahead and let's roll the clip in editing the introduction and the first verse. Okay, so you should have just seen the introduction and the first verse. It's very simple. Before we start playing, I'm not using any effects. I haven't used any effects in any of the prior tutorials that I've done. So we're just using dry sound with a reverb this time. I left the reverb on, but I cut the delay off. I'm using a Stratocaster because it's the only guitar that I have available. But I do record this on the Explorer when it is available. Um, we're in standard tuning. That's the other thing that I was going to mention. We're in standard tuning for this song, or at least for the backing track that I played along to and the cover that I made. So, without any further ado, the introduction is just harmonics. So, I got to move the camera down. What am I doing? Okay, so hopefully you guys can see the whole fretboard pretty decently. So the introduction to this song starts off on harmonics on the 7th fret, which is like very typical U2 song, starts off on harmonics. You play this with any finger. It doesn't have to be in the index or the middle. You can play it with anything. But I just prefer to play usually with the ring finger. So that's like basically how he plays the intro. It's just on the 7th fret, and the first note is the D string harmonic, and then it goes to a G, the G string harmonic. All these are on the 7th fret, and then back up to the D. So just back and forth between D and G string basically, and then at the end of that little line, you're gonna play the B string harmonic. So D, G, D, G, D, G, B, G, D. And you can just play it like that. That's very slow, by the way. It's played much faster than that, but the basic rhythm, I guess, that it's played at is like this. So that is the entire harmonic part. You just play that, I think it's 2 times on the introduction. And then it goes into the main riff for the verse. And this verse part is entirely repeating. So it's very simple. You need a pretty clean sound with a delay. Again, see the settings video for what delay time and all that stuff. So the riff that you're playing, you're gonna form almost like a. I consider this to be like a diamond shape riff, but you're gonna play. Here's how the riff goes. I'm gonna play it for you. So that's like the whole verse. That's it right there. The whole verse. I just played it for you. So you're gonna start out on the 9th fret of the G string, and you're gonna put your middle finger on the 8th fret of the B string, and that middle finger is gonna stay there the whole verse. It's not moving. And then your index finger is gonna be on the 7th fret of the G string as well. So you got 9th fret G string and 7th fret G string. And you're gonna take this ring finger here on the 9th fret off every once in a while to play the 7th fret G string. And then also with your index finger, you're gonna fret the 7th fret of the E string, the high E string here. And that's gonna come into play at the end of each line. So really slowly. So there's the pull off to the 7th fret of the G string. And then you're gonna, after you play that, you're gonna add your pinky finger on the 10th fret of the B string. Keeping that middle finger on the 8th fret, by the way, while you do that. And then take that pinky finger off. And that's where the E string comes in. So this may seem a little complicated the way that I'm describing it, but I'm gonna play it for you and try my best to describe how to play this, because it's kind of weird. So G string, sorry, not D string, there's no D string in this. So G string on the 9th fret and B string 8th fret. You play them back and forth. So 9 and then 8. And then after you play that a couple times like this, then you're gonna go 7th fret G string and then 8th fret of the B string. So the same thing, but you're playing the 7th fret of the G string, and then you throw in that high E string on the 7th fret as well. And then after you do that, you're gonna come over here and you're gonna put your ring finger on the 9th fret of the G string, and then 10th fret of the B string here with that pinky finger. And then you're going to play that very quickly, and then you're going to go back over to this 7th fret of the G string and 8th fret of the B string. So that little riff. So hopefully you can see that. Can you all see that? So here it is again, very slowly. Then come over here with your pinky finger. And that riff just repeats the entire verse. So hopefully now you have the verse down. So going into the chorus, hold on, I'm falling off the edge of the chair here. So going into the chorus, because that's the entire verse. So let's throw in the chorus. Instead of teaching you it, let's bring up the chorus really quickly. And it's a very heavy sound. Again, just use a pretty decently heavy distortion, and you should get by. See the settings video for that. So I'm going to bring that up for you in editing. Okay, so you should have just seen the chorus section of the song, and this is really simple as well. So there's really like 2 parts to the chorus, but it's not difficult, so just hang with me here. The first part, you're playing chords and you're strumming, and it's a very heavy sound. So the first chord here, and I'm going to be playing this clean for the tutorial and for the sake of you guys being able to hear it. So the first part, it's just octave chords. hopefully the reverb doesn't muddy things up for you and you can still hear it. But the first part, you're going to start off on the 3rd fret of the A string, and then you're going to octave that note by putting it on the 5th fret of the G string. And those are the only 2 notes that you're going to fret during this chord part of the chorus. You're going to just slide this shape down the fretboard up, and then you're going to slide it down here, and then back up. So the first chord starts off, it's a C, and it's a C octave. Slide that shape down just up, or technically this would be up. Slide this shape up the fretboard just 1 fret over to the 2nd fret B string and the 4th fret G string. Then that shape slides all the way down here to the 10th fret of the A string, 12th fret G string, and then that shape slides down 2 more frets to the 12th fret A string and 14th fret G string. So the way you play that would be like this. And then I think that those chords, that sequence, is played twice. I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that's the way you play it. In full speed, it's kind of like this. Then it goes into a lead part. And the lead part is the same shape we were playing in the verse, except it's played with a bit more energy and a bit more dramatic. So it's the same shape, but you're playing with a heavy lead sound, and it's kind of played like... Keep in mind, it's hard to play this without a backing track, but you're going to do basically a lot more hammer-ons during the end of the chorus. So this is the second half of the chorus. We're still in the chorus, and this is during the part where Bono was singing New York really loud. So... So you can just hammer on that 7 to 9. And then hammer on again. So the part that I just taught you in the verse, same thing. Just play it with a bit more energy, I guess, is the best way to describe it. A little more enthusiasm or something. I don't know what the best word is right now, but it's the same thing. So then, I hope that gets that covered. So then the next part, it goes into the verse. And so I'm going to bring up a clip of the second verse to you.
Irish been coming here for years. Like they own the place. Got me that part city hall, that's all, that's all. Baker got the police, Irish Italians, Jews and Hispanics, religious nuts, political fanatics, and stew. Gasoline of light, me and you.
So you have just seen the second verse, and the second verse is different. And I'm not playing with the effects, so it's kind of not going to sound as good without the effects, but hopefully I still get the idea across. That's the main thing here. So the second verse, same chord shape from the first verse and from the end of the chorus that I taught you, except this time it's very simple. You're playing a 1-strum chord. So you're taking the shape and you're just playing a chord. So you can kind of palm mute, so you can flatten your hands across the strings, so you mute it, kind of like Where the Streets Have No Name. And you can kind of do a little thing like this with your delay and a filter on. And then Edge just kind of has this funky modulated guitar sound going on. And you can just kind of play it with 1 strum. first chord shape you're going to use is going to be 9-8. 9G, 8B. And then you're going to go 7G, 8B. Then 9-10, 9G, 10B. And then back to 7 and 8. 7 on the G, 8B. So basically you strum through once like this. Oh, sorry, I did not mean for that third note to get in there. And you just hold it. You just let the chord ring out. And then move on to the next chord. And then it goes back into the chorus, which I've already taught you the chorus. Second chorus, same thing as the first chorus. All the choruses are the same. So that is pretty much as I'm going to cover today. And we will hit up on the last half of the song in the next part. There's not a whole lot to it. The sequence of the song is intro, verse 1, chorus 1, verse 2, chorus 2, verse 3, chorus 3, the guitar solo, and then it finishes with the chorus as the ending. And that is pretty much the entire song. And so the difference between each of them, and I'm going to put this on the screen as well, the intro is harmonics. Verse 1 is just the simple repeating riff that I taught you. Chorus 1, the first half is heavy chords, and the second half is the riff, the little energetic riff, I guess you could say, that I was teaching you. Verse 2 is the funky sounding chords. Chorus 2 is the same as chorus 1. Verse 3 is the same as verse 1. But at the end of verse 3, you're going to play a strum, the one strum thing, before it goes back into the chorus. That's verse 3. I'll teach you that in the next part. So don't worry about that yet. But that's how you end verse 3. But verse 3 has the same guitar sound as verse 1. It's not a funky, modulated delay guitar sound. The solo uses the same sound as the chorus, or I use the same sound for the chorus, but I use more of a lead boost, so I can get a lead guitar sound. And the solo is pretty easy, and we'll go over that in the next part. And then back into the chorus for the ending. A quick note that I want to go over, because I think this is important. Some people may think that there is no delay on the chorus to New York, but I use delay. I keep the main delay sound from the verse, and I just turn on a heavy drive. So I do use delay when I play the chorus. I just want to point that out. So turning the camera back to me, because we're pretty much done teaching for today. I use a delay for the chorus. You can use a delay if you feel comfortable playing with one. In my cover that I made, delay is on for the entirety of the song, pretty much, I think. Yes, delay is on for the whole song. But there are two delays. One delay is a main delay. It has a little bit of modulation, but it's only just a touch. The second delay is very heavily modulated, and that is only used on verse number 2. So that's just something that you should remember if you're trying to play this live in your band, or if you're trying to do a cover. Oops, those are some important things to make a note of. I'm trying to think of anything else to tell you before we jump to the next part in the series. It's a pretty simple song. I think that's pretty much all there is to say about this. I think you guys can learn this, and I hope I explained everything today clearly, and that you understand everything. I'll see you guys in part 2 then.